The moment you stop reacting, toxic people lose their power. Not because you fight back, but because you no longer play the game. Ever noticed how silent people hold the most power? Not by yelling, not by proving a point, just by staying unshaken. What if the strongest move isn't arguing or defending yourself, but calmly watching their chaos collapse on its own? Toxic people try the same old tactics on you: provocation, manipulation, guilt trips, unnecessary drama. They expect the same reaction you've always given: anger, defensiveness, or getting pulled into their emotional chaos. That's the cycle they rely on. But this time, something shifts. Instead of reacting, you stay completely calm, quiet, unmoved. They raise their voice, escalate the situation, push harder than before, yet you remain still, grounded, almost serene. Eventually, they stop. They step back. They distance themselves not because you threatened them or fought back, but because they realized something essential. You are no longer movable, trying to manipulate someone who cannot be. Emotionally controlled is a total waste of energy. This isn't about scaring people or making them fear you. The fear here is specific. Toxic people fear wasting time on someone they can't control. It's not fear of harm, it's fear of futility. When your boundaries are solid like granite, manipulation fails before it begins. Your silent strength makes their tactics useless. So they naturally avoid you, not because you're aggressive, but because you're unshakable. Marcus Aurelius didn't dominate others through intimidation. He commanded respect through unwavering character. Epictetus taught that true power comes from self-mastery. Seneca understood that silent power surpasses loud dominance. Today, we're breaking down 7 silent behaviors rooted in Stoic strength, behaviors that make toxic people realize you cannot be manipulated, not through threats or anger, but through complete control over your inner world. Behavior number 4 is emotional detachment. When they try to provoke you, you instantly remove their power, because manipulators need your emotional reaction. When you give them nothing, they lose their leverage. By the end of this video, you'll embody a form of strength that makes manipulation impossible, not by intimidation, but by Stoic self-control. They'll walk away because trying to manipulate you becomes pointless. So, if you're ready to develop unshakable power through subscribe. Now let's begin. Behavior number 1. Complete emotional detachment when they try to provoke you. They say something designed to trigger you, something sharp, personal, calculated. You stay calm. They push harder, more inflammatory. Still, you remain centered. No defensiveness, no visible emotional reaction, just quiet observation, as if you're watching a storm pass in the distance. You see the clouds forming, but you don't step into the rain. This detachment breaks their power instantly because manipulation only functions through your emotional response. Your emotions were the leverage they depended on. When you don't react, they have nothing to pull from, no chaos to feed on. And suddenly, everything changes. The person who used to provoke you, who once knew exactly which buttons to press, starts losing access to you. Their words used to trigger anger, insecurity, or hurt, and it worked flawlessly, keeping you trapped in emotional conflict. You'd react, they'd feed on that reaction, and the cycle continued. But now, you choose something different. Complete detachment, not emotional suppression. You observe, you stay in control. You remain unshaken, now that you've mastered emotional detachment in the face of provocation. The next test arrives quickly, another attempt to trigger you. the next provocation comes. A statement crafted to sting, aimed directly at your character or your choices, designed to pull a reaction out of you. But instead of responding the way you used to, you simply look at them. There's a calm curiosity in your eyes, as if you're observing an interesting phenomenon rather than a personal attack. No anger, no defense. Just awareness. You pause. You breathe. Then you give a simple acknowledgement, maybe a slight nod, and go back to what you were doing. No emotional engagement. No argument. Nothing for them to grip onto. So they escalate. They say harsher things, sharper words, attacking what they know matters to you. Yet you remain still, calm as a quiet lake at sunrise. You're not ignoring them, you're fully present, but emotionally untouched. They can see you, hear them. They can see you're processing the words, but they can't extract the emotional reaction they need. It's like pushing against a wall that refuses to move, frustrating for them, liberating for you. After a few failed attempts, they stop. They finally realize that getting an emotional reaction from you is no longer possible. They move on to someone more reactive, someone who will hand over the emotional energy they crave. You're not withholding a reaction out of spite, you simply don't need to react. You've mastered your responses to the point where provocation becomes background noise. You notice it, but it doesn't disturb your inner balance. Epictetus made this principle clear. You control your responses, not the external world. No one can make you feel anything without your permission. Marcus Aurelius practiced this daily. Do not let others disturb your inner calm. Their words hold no power unless you grant it. Seneca understood the same. Anger gives others control. Calm keeps your power with you. This isn't about suppressing emotions or becoming cold. It's about mastery, feeling emotions internally, but choosing not to let them dictate your behavior. The real power lives in that choice. They provoke. You choose calm. That choice makes you unmovable. And manipulators hate wasting energy on someone who won't react. Not because you'll fight back, but because you won't respond at all. Their tactic becomes useless. Detachment strips away their leverage. Now, the second behavior. One that removes negotiation and makes you truly unshakable. Setting boundaries without justification. You state a boundary clearly, simply, directly. That doesn't work for me. When they ask why, you don't explain. When they push, you repeat yourself, same tone, same words, no elaboration. You never defend the boundary. You never justify it. You just maintain it, calmly, confidently, like gravity simply exists. No argument is possible. Manipulators attack boundaries by attacking your reasoning. They get you to explain yourself, then use those explanations against you, poking holes, challenging your logic, making you feel unreasonable. But when you offer no explanation, there's nothing to attack. The boundary becomes an unmovable fact they must accept. Think of that family member who crossed your boundaries for years. You used to explain why your limits mattered, trying to make them understand. Every reason you gave became fuel for debate. If you said you needed rest, they'd argue you weren't that tired. If you said money was tight, they'd point out ways you could cut spending. Every reason turned into negotiation until your boundaries collapsed under the weight of justification. So you changed your approach. You set the boundary with no explanation at all. I can't do that. But as your boundaries became firmer and you stopped explaining them, something interesting happened. They demanded reasons, just like they always did. Why not? What's the real reason? There must be some explanation. But instead of defending yourself like you used to, your response stayed simple and consistent. I've made my decision. That's my answer. They kept arguing anyway. They tried guilt, tried logic, tried obligation, anything to pull you back into the emotional negotiation. But you held your ground like a broken record. Same tone, same sentence. No new information, no justification, no defense. At first it felt uncomfortable. That urge to explain was almost overwhelming. It felt rude, even selfish, not to offer reasons. But you stayed steady. You repeated your boundary again and again and again, despite their frustration rising. Eventually, something shifted. They realized no explanation was coming. They couldn't argue with silence. They couldn't debate a position that you refused to defend. Your boundary held not because your reasoning was better or more convincing, but because the boundary simply existed. Full stop. They stopped pushing. Not because they suddenly respected your decision, but because pushing against silence leads nowhere. It returns nothing. It becomes a complete waste of their energy. Marcus Aurelius understood this deeply. Your decisions don't require anyone's approval or understanding. A boundary is yours to set, not theirs to validate. Epictetus taught that you control your boundaries. No one else does. Their opinion of your boundary has no influence on its existence. And Seneca recognized that explaining yourself to manipulators gives them power they never deserved in the first place. This isn't about being rude or dismissive. It's about being firm. You can deliver boundaries calmly, even kindly, while still refusing to justify them. When you don't open the door to negotiation, there is no negotiation. This is not a discussion, it's a decision already made. They can accept it or not. That's their problem. Your choice was simply to draw the line, final, unexplained, therefore unassailable. When you don't explain, they can't argue. When they can't argue, they can't wear you down. When they can't wear you down, the boundary stays intact. That integrity, that refusal to justify yourself, makes you someone they cannot manipulate through reasoning. They stop trying, not because they suddenly respect you, but because they know it won't work. It becomes a waste of their time and energy. Your silence becomes your strength. If you've ever stopped explaining yourself and watched manipulators give up because they had nothing to argue with, write in the comments, "My decision stands." Your silent strength may inspire others to stop justifying what needs no justification. Unexplained boundaries are walls. Now we reach the third behavior, one that creates a discomfort they can't escape. Watchful silence. You observe their manipulation tactics without reacting. They try the same old moves. Don't call them out. Don't defend yourself. Don't argue. You simply watch. That quiet, knowing look in your eyes tells them you see everything clearly, and you're not taking the bait. This combination, being fully seen, yet unable to affect you deeply, unsettles manipulators. Their tactics rely on two things: staying invisible and triggering instinctive reactions. When you observe them with calm awareness, both advantages disappear. They're exposed and powerless. Think of that co-worker who constantly manipulated people at work, guilt-tripping when they wanted help, playing victim to avoid accountability, triangulating people to create division, undermining you with comments disguised as concern. You used to react every time, explaining yourself, defending your reputation, trying to fix misunderstandings they created. It was an exhausting dance that never led anywhere. Then one day you shifted to pure observation. And when the next manipulation attempt came, and from that silent observation, something deeper unfolded. They began with guilt, complaining that you weren't helping enough with their workload. But instead of defending yourself or explaining why, you simply looked at them. Your eyes showed quiet awareness, almost like you were watching a performance unfold on a stage. No words, no reaction, just a calm recognition of what was happening. And they felt it. They could see in your expression that you understood exactly what tactic they were using. It made them visibly uncomfortable, yet they continued anyway, leaning even harder into the victim role. But you remained still composed, almost curious, like studying a pattern you'd finally identified. That silence broke their rhythm. In the middle of their manipulation, they stopped. Something about your steady gaze and your lack of emotional response threw them off balance, so they switched strategies. This time, they tried false concern. "Are you okay? You seem stressed lately." You kept observing. A slight tilt of your head. A subtle, knowing smile, not mocking, just aware. You saw through the fake concern to the manipulation underneath, and they felt it. They were being seen completely, yet had no power to influence how you perceived them or how you felt. For someone who survives by controlling narratives and triggering reactions, that is one of the most uncomfortable positions they can be in. Over the next few weeks, they eventually stopped using those tactics on you altogether. They drifted away, seeking other people who would react, who wouldn't notice the performance, who could still be moved like pieces on a board. Being fully seen while having zero control over your emotions was unbearable for them. Not because you judged them, but because you understood them and remained unmoved. That quiet understanding without fighting, without calling them out, dissolved all their power. Marcus Aurelius practiced this discipline. Observe the actions of others clearly, without judgment or emotional reaction. See reality. Respond only if truly necessary. Epictetus understood this truth. Awareness gives you power. Reaction gives them power. When you simply notice without engaging, control remains entirely in your hands. Seneca taught, "The wise recognize manipulation for what it is, but need not expose it." They simply refuse to participate. This isn't about feeling superior or looking down on others. It's about clarity. They manipulate. You observe. They escalate. You remain steady. And eventually they realize you're not someone whose emotions can be triggered or whose perception can be influenced. When that realization hits, trying to manipulate you becomes nothing more than a waste of energy. Not because you'll confront them, but because you won't even react. You just continue seeing clearly and staying still. That clear sight, paired with emotional neutrality, is a form of power few people ever master. Fourth behavior, silent departure. The fourth behavior is silent departure, leaving without drama when the situation becomes toxic. There is no announcement, no emotional speech, no final confrontation. You simply walk away. Physically, if possible, emotionally, if not. The conversation ends. The connection dissolves. You're gone, fully done. This is ultimate control. Most people argue, defend, negotiate, or seek closure before leaving. You just exit. It shows that your time, energy, and presence are not negotiable. Access to you is a privilege, and that privilege can be revoked quietly, instantly, permanently when manipulation crosses the line. This forces people to reconsider their behavior, not because you demand change, but because they realize access to you requires respect. And if they fail to offer it, you will withdraw yourself without warning and without debate, building on the power of silent departure. The consequences of attempting to manipulate you became immediate and unavoidable in the past. Arguments with someone who thrived on conflict were exhausting loops, escalating quickly, going nowhere, spinning in circles you'd stay. Try to resolve, defend your position, explain yourself, fight back. It was a pattern that never produced anything except more toxicity. Both sides drained, both sides frustrated, and nothing was ever truly solved, just more damage done. Then one day, something shifted. Mid-argument, you recognized the pattern, forming the same circular accusations, the same bad faith tactics, the same refusal to truly communicate. Instead of continuing the exhausting cycle, you simply stood up mid-sentence. Their sentence, not yours. You picked up your things and walked to the door. They shouted louder, demanded you stay, insisted you finish the discussion. You opened the door, walked out, and closed it quietly behind you. No declarations, no ultimatums, no parting shots, no justification. You simply left. You drove home. Ignored calls, ignored texts. No engagement, no reopening of the argument. The next day, you acted completely normal, even friendly, when they tried to bring up the argument again, saying, "We need to talk about yesterday." Your response was simple. "There's nothing to discuss." Complete finality in your tone, not angry, not defensive, just done. When they pushed, trying to make you engage, you repeated once, then smoothly changed the subject. If they persisted, you left again. Same silent exit. They learned quickly. Whenever conversation turned toxic, you simply removed yourself. No negotiation, no explanation, just gone. Arguments like those never happened again. They modified their behavior entirely, realizing that engaging in toxicity with you meant losing access, and access to you was a privilege they could lose instantly without discussion. This wasn't fear of you. It was understanding that manipulation now carried a real cost. Marcus Aurelius practiced this principle. Remove yourself from harmful situations without ceremony. No need to justify the obvious. Epictetus taught that your presence is your choice and can be withdrawn at any time from anyone. Seneca understood that a wise person doesn't stay where they shouldn't. Leaving quietly preserves peace by refusing to participate in chaos. This isn't punishment or control. It's self-preservation, protecting your peace. You don't owe anyone your presence during their toxicity. You don't owe an explanation for protecting yourself. Leaving without drama says everything that needs to be said. Staying would communicate tolerance. Leaving says you won't accept it. Silently and finally, they adjust or lose access entirely. Either outcome safeguards you. That's what matters. Fifth behavior, absolute consistency. The next layer of unshakable strength is absolute consistency in boundaries and responses. Every answer remains the same every time. Doesn't matter what they try, what mood you're in, or what circumstances exist. Your boundary remains identical. Your response remains identical. Consistency is predictable, unwavering, like granite. Manipulators constantly search for cracks, a moment of weakness, a situation when you might bend. They test early in the morning, late at night, during stress, during joy, during holidays. They look for any slight variance. A single different response would be their opportunity. But you never wavered. No exceptions. Monday or Friday. tired or energetic, stressed or peaceful, generous or protective. No matter the circumstance, the boundary remained the same. Manipulators tried every angle, different appeals, logical arguments, emotional pressures, urgent tones, framing the request in new ways. Each time, the answer never changed. The same firm boundary, delivered calmly, consistently. 6 months of relentless testing, probing for weakness, found nothing. Every manipulation attempt met with identical, unshakable response. Eventually, they stopped. Not because they suddenly wanted to respect you, but because they realized the boundary was permanent and absolute. No cracks existed. No matter how long they tried, how many tactics they employed, how many conditions they tested, you remained consistent. Fighting against that reality was futile like fighting. Gravity, exhausting, pointless. Marcus Aurelius knew, character is revealed through consistency, not occasional strength. Weak people are strong sometimes. Strong people are strong always. Epictetus taught, master yourself so completely that circumstances don't change you. Same in all situations. That's true self-control. Seneca compared the wise person to a mountain in a storm. Unmovable, unchanging, unaffected by the weather. That is real strength. Boundaries don't bend with mood or pressure. That integrity is what makes you unmovable. When others see your absolute consistency, they stop testing, they stop manipulating. They understand viscerally that trying is futile. You will not change. You will not bend. You will not show weakness. Consistency closes all openings. Sixth behavior, removing all leverage. Sixth behavior builds on that, removing all leverage from manipulators. Be completely self-sufficient, emotionally independent, financially stable, socially fulfilled. Need nothing from them. They have no leverage, no vulnerability to exploit, no power over you. Any attempt to influence or control fails automatically because they hold nothing you require, and you hold everything you need. And from that consistency, one thing became increasingly clear. You are complete without them. You're not just surviving alone. You're thriving alone. Not just fine, but genuinely peaceful and fulfilled. This level of self-sufficiency terrifies manipulators. Because manipulation only works when you need something. Need their approval. Need their resources. Need their validation. Need their presence. But when you need absolutely nothing from them, their power disappears entirely. They cannot give what you don't want. They cannot withhold what you don't need. Suddenly, every manipulation tactic becomes completely useless. People who live by controlling others naturally avoid those they cannot leverage. Not because you're threatening, but because trying to manipulate a self-sufficient person is utterly futile. A waste of energy, with no result. There was a time when they held significant leverage over you. You needed their emotional approval. You sought their validation constantly. Occasionally, you depended on their financial support. You relied on their social circle for connections. Every need was a foothold for manipulation. They could withhold recognition as punishment, withdraw support as control, threaten social isolation as a weapon. And it worked, because those needs were real. Your dependence gave them power. But then you began to change. You worked deliberately to become fully self. You built emotional independence through therapy and self-reflection. You established financial stability through focused effort. You developed a social life entirely separate from them. And you created a fulfilling existence that required nothing from them. It wasn't fast. It wasn't easy. But step by step, you became genuinely self-sufficient. Not performing independence, but truly living it. Not just okay alone, but peaceful, content, and complete. They became optional, not essential. A preference, not a necessity. Then, when they tried their usual leverage tactics again, something changed. They withheld approval, expecting you to chase it. You shrugged. It didn't matter. Their approval was no longer required for yourself. They threatened to withdraw support. Fine, you didn't need it. You were financially stable. They tried to socially isolate you. Go ahead. You had a full, rich life without their circle. Every attempt at manipulation met with genuine indifference. Not fake, not performed, real. You truly needed nothing they could give or take, and they saw it. All their power had vanished, not because you took it, but because you didn't need it. From that point, two things could happen. They treated you as an equal, unable to control you, or the relationship ended. Either outcome was acceptable, because your well-being was no longer in their hands. Epictetus taught this principle long ago. Peace does not come from external things, only from internal virtue. Marcus Aurelius embodied it. The self-sufficient person is the free person. Seneca understood, true wealth is not having much, but needing little. True power is not controlling others, but needing nothing from them. This isn't about isolation or refusing healthy interdependence. It's about the foundation. Being a complete person who chooses relationships without desperately needing them. Choosing connection from a position of wholeness, not filling emptiness through others. That self-sufficiency makes you unmovable. They have nothing to leverage, nothing to withhold to hurt you, nothing to offer to control you. Manipulation requires leverage. You have none. They recognize this and they stop trying, not because you're intimidating, but because you are simply not vulnerable. Self-sufficiency is freedom. Building on that, self-sufficiency and mirror-like calm. The next step was learning how to handle chaos without becoming part of it. In the past, reacting to their chaos with your own chaos only made things worse. Feeding into the cycle never resolved anything. It just created exhaustion for both of you. Arguments escalated, emotions flared, storms raged, and nothing productive ever came from it. You realized something had to change, so you decided to try something radically different. The next emotional storm they created, you stayed absolutely calm. They were yelling, moving frantically, almost vibrating with panic and frustration. But you spoke quietly, in a normal tone, normal volume. You stayed still, centered, grounded. They manufactured emergency after emergency. You responded proportionally, assessing each situation calmly, neither suppressing your emotions nor letting theirs control yours. Inside, you were genuinely peaceful and that inner calm radiated outward. Your serenity became a mirror, reflecting their chaos back at them, showing the frantic energy for exactly what it was. They could see just how out of proportion their reactions were, how much unnecessary drama they were creating against your measured calm. That reflection made them uncomfortable in a way that matching their energy never could. When you used to join the storm, chaos felt justified, like fuel for their fire. Now, when you stayed calm, their chaos looked excessive, visible, even embarrassing. Without your participation, their storms either subsided to match your energy or moved elsewhere, to someone willing to feed them. Either way, your peace remained intact. You didn't join the chaos. You let it pass, untouched and unmoved, your center unshaken. Over time, this became a pattern. Every time they brought chaos, you met it with calm. Every emotional storm met your steady peace. Eventually, they stopped creating drama around you, not because you punished them, but because chaos without a participant isn't sustainable. Drama needs fuel. You provided none. Your calm reflection alone made their efforts feel futile, pointless. They either modified their behavior or simply avoided interacting with you. Either outcome preserved your peace. Marcus Aurelius described this perfectly. Be like a promontory of rock, against which waves constantly crash, yet the rock remains unmoved. The surf foams and rages around it, but the rock stands still. Epictetus taught that external chaos is beyond your control. Your calm is an internal choice. Control your inner world, always. Seneca compared the wise person to the deep surface of a lake. Ripples may appear from external disturbance, but the depths remain completely still. This is true mastery. It's not about superiority or judgment, it's about self-mastery. Maintaining your center regardless of the storm around you is real strength. Genuine power comes from your ability to remain unshakable. When you refuse to join their chaos, manipulation through emotional storms becomes impossible. They rely on your participation, your matching energy, your reactive chaos, but you give none. Just peace, stillness, and calm reflection of their behavior is enough to make their efforts pointless. Not because you're threatening, not because you intimidate, but because you are simply unmovable, unshakable, and calm. That calm is your final protection. These are the 7 silent behaviors that make manipulation impossible. Emotional detachment when provoked, boundaries without explanation, observing without reacting, walking away without drama, unbreakable, consistency, complete self-sufficiency.com, mirroring chaos. Subscribe now to continue developing this silent, stoic strength that makes you unmovable through. This has never been about making people afraid of you or intimidating anyone. It's about mastering yourself so completely that manipulation becomes futile. They don't fear you as a person, they fear wasting energy on someone unmovable. Your detachment removes their leverage. Your boundaries cannot be argued with. Your observation exposes their tactics. Your departures end their games. Your consistency eliminates openings. Your self-sufficiency removes their power. Your calm reflects their chaos back to them. Marcus Aurelius never intimidated anyone. He commanded respect through unshakable character. Epictetus taught that self-mastery is ultimate freedom. Seneca knew that silent strength outlasts loud dominance. These behaviors protect you not through threats, but through dignity. Not through aggression, but through firm boundaries. Be unmovable through stoic self-control. Stay silent. Stay strong. Stay stoic.